Hello, and welcome to Advice for Beginning Mountaineers. I am Dale Eichmeyer, and this is episode 3, part 1 of clothing, where I'll discuss the often asked question, what should I wear? Choosing the right clothing and wearing it correctly can, without exaggeration, make the difference between life and death, or at least the difference between a great experience and a miserable one. In this part, I will provide a broad overview of clothing terminology, and the purpose of clothing suitable for summer alpine climbing in the lower 48 states. In parts 2, I'll show examples of layering, and in part 3, I'll show details of the various features you should look for in clothing. So let's get started. These are the topics I'll cover because I don't want you to walk into a sporting goods store and say, I'm going to climb Mount X and I need some climbing clothes. Chances are the salesperson knows less about climbing than you do, unless you happen to walk into a specialized outfitter, in which case the salesperson will start to ask you specific questions like, are you looking for a lightweight base layer? Do you prefer wool or polyester? Do you need a soft shell pants? After viewing this video, you not only understand these questions, but you'll be able to answer them like a seasoned climber. Watching this video is research, so please like or subscribe. But while you can trust me, don't rely on my videos alone. Study your chosen mountain using books and the internet. An excellent source of information are the websites of the guide services. Look at their suggested clothing lists. Although to understand their list, you need to understand the terminology, and I'll help you with that here. Don't forget the weather. Mountainforecast.com is an excellent source for current weather conditions and insights into the clothing that you'll need. Other people's experiences recorded in books, journals, or blogs are also great sources. Look for climbing blogs, and videos of climbers can provide information on what they were actually wearing. Of course, guidebooks and general mountaineering instructional books contain a wealth of information. Don't forget product reviews. Just Google best climbing pants or whatever the item might be. Skip printed catalogs. They usually contain very little information. For detailed information, go to the online catalog and look for descriptions and features. First rule of mountaineering clothing, no cotton. But why, you ask? It is inexpensive, soft, and comfortable. The reason is it absorbs and holds moisture, which makes it perfect for bath towels and handkerchiefs. But damp clothing is cold and uncomfortable and heavy, not what you want in an alpine environment. So no cotton socks, t-shirts, or underwear or sweaters. The only cotton you should have is the handkerchief in your pocket. Your clothing should be made from materials that are hydrophobic, materials that do not absorb moisture and in fact wick it away and dry quickly. By removing moisture, they keep you warmer. These types of materials include silk, wool, and synthetics, mainly polyester. Leather is a common material, especially for gloves and boots, due to abrasion and heat resistance and durability. But make sure it is treated for water resistance or waterproof. A word about water resistance and waterproof. There is a huge difference. Water resistant means that it will not absorb water and will shed it. Water resistant materials are often treated with chemicals such as silicone to improve shedding ability. But water resistance only buys time. Given enough time and force, such as wind and rain, the water will leak through the gaps in the weave of the fabric. Remember, these gaps are what makes the clothing breathable and comfortable to wear. Water-resistant clothing is typically good for very short duration, light rain, mists, or spray, but not steady rain or contact with moisture such as ice and snow. Waterproof, on the other hand, is the solution for long duration contact with moisture in any form. It will keep moisture out, which means it will also keep moisture in. Generally, the only true waterproof materials are rubber-coated or plastic-coated fabrics, which are very uncomfortable to wear due to the condensation on the inside. Fortunately, there's a compromise between breathability of water resistance and non-breathability of waterproof. There are breathable yet waterproof membranes such as Gore-Tex, OutDry, Activent, and others. These membranes are porous, but the pores are so small They keep the larger condensed moisture out, hence waterproofness, but they're large enough to allow the smaller vaporized droplets from sweat to escape, thus breathability. We also have natural fabrics, such as wool, which is durable, warm, even when wet, which makes it ideal for just about any item of clothing. Drawback may be cost and weight. Down is super light when compared to other material and has a high insulation to weight value, which makes it popular for parkas and sleeping bags, but it is more expensive and useless when wet. Most of your clothing will be made from synthetics, mostly polyester due to its versatility. Polyester can be woven into warm, fluffy fleece or smooth, silky fabrics, ideal for the next to the skin items. In heavier weaves, it's suited for the protective outer layers. Nylon is strong, durable, and resistant to all sorts of chemicals, and it can be woven to satin-like or canvas-like, which makes it ideal for many purposes. Spandex is stretchy and suited for where you want a close fit, such as pants and underclothing, and it is normally woven into a blend with nylon or polyester. Polypropylene has the same properties as polyester and is often used in long underwear, socks, and glove liners because of its wicking ability. Acrylic is basically artificial wool and is used like wool in socks and sweaters. Unlike wool, you can wash and dry it without worry. One last comment about materials. Synthetics burn or melt, so keep them away from flames and heat sources. The natural fabrics are more flame retardant. Now that we've covered the material types, let's move on to the term weight. You may have heard the terms light, medium, heavy, or expedition weight. But what does that mean and how can you tell? Heavier fabrics have higher insulation value along with bulk and weight, and light are just the opposite. Technically, in the fabric industry, there is a technical definition which will actually mean nothing to the layman. So one way to think about this weight issue is that light is for summer alpine conditions, expedition or heavy is for winter-like conditions. A more useful way to think about fabric weight is what I call the sweatshirt rule. It is a rule that just about everyone can relate to and easily use. A sweatshirt is medium weight. If an article of clothing is thinner than a sweatshirt, it is lightweight. If it is thicker, it is heavier weight. It's simple and effective. Now let's talk about that other term, shells. We all know what shells do. They protect the inside from the outside. Soft shell is just another name for a light jacket or windbreaker that you wear on a cool day. It is breathable shell that protects the inner layers from wind and moisture. Shells may be insulated or not, but they must resist moderate wind and short duration exposure to rain, mist, and spray, and still be breathable. Hoods are optional but desirable. Other desirable features include snug wrists, zippered pockets, and a waist drawstring. For hard shells, think rain jacket and pants. In fact, when internet searching for a hard shell, rain jackets and pants will have more results. Again, remember our earlier discussion about the difference between waterproof and water resistant. For mountaineering, you want hard shells made from the breathable membranes. Be sure to check for sealed seams. Some bargain price shells may have waterproof membranes, but not sealed seams, which then let the water in, defeating the purpose of the shell. Layering is a clothing strategy to fine-tune your comfort level and to avoid the choice between being hot or cold. Proper layering helps to find that just right Goldilocks spot. The idea is simple. You peel off or add layers to find the right comfort level. Layering is important because the Goldilocks spot continually shifts throughout the climb. You will most likely start in pre-dawn cold and darkness, known as an alpine start, when the temps are at their lowest. You will then generate a lot of heat climbing and lose it whenever you stop and rest. The sun will rise and the temperatures with it, or not, as you gain elevation. On a clear day with the sun reflecting off a snowfield, you may experience radiant heat, or a passing cloud will make you shiver. Throw into this mix wind and precipitation. So you need the proper layers that are easy to put on and take off for all of these variations. When we talk about layers, we have three: the base, the middle or insulation layer, and the outer shell. I personally think there's a fourth, which is the underlayer. Now this concludes part one. Be sure to watch part two, where I'll show the various layers in detail. And of course, subscribe or comment. And good climbing.